Hi, I'm Juliana and thank you for joining us here at Elemental Truth. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel and click on that bell to get notified when we add more videos like this one for you to enjoy. Today, we're going to talk about how to feel empowered. So regardless of our past or what we're living, we all want to feel like we have more control in our world, that we can make choices and decide the best for ourselves and for our loved ones. Some of us, however, may argue that we really only have limited control. After all, we can't always control the external things, right? Like the weather, other people's behaviors or feelings, but we can control ourselves. Well, maybe not as much as we think we do. If this just brought shivers down your spine, I hear you. I am a big control freak myself, always have been. And I certainly don't like the idea that there are very few things that I can control. So how dare I make this statement? Well, it all has to do with the way that we take in, assimilate, and store information. From the first second that you popped into this world and drew your first breath, and truthfully probably even before that, but I'm not going to get into that in this video, your beautiful brain started taking in information, helping you figure out what the climate was like out here. Is it hostile? Is it loving? Is there scarcity? How am I going to eat? How am I going to survive? And as we grow up, our minds continue to collect and categorize even more and more information, labeling people, events, locations, everything that our five senses can take in, and more, all in the name of understanding our environment and increasing our survival potential. All this has been quite useful, actually, evolutionary speaking. However, our minds, without a leader or a conscious leader, begins to turn into kind of a drama queen and begins to actually be more of a curse than a blessing. And it's not really all our fault because no one's really instructed us how to really use this brilliant mind of ours for our bidding. Society, our education system and schooling has really just forced us to memorize this and calculate that. But on a social scale, on a well-being level, on a oneness perspective, we've lost that connection completely. And this just makes the mind freak out even more. Because you see, in the mind's perspective, there's no structure, there's only chaos and unpredictability. And that means there's danger everywhere, in every corner. Now, the real you, not your mind, is somewhere inside there, kind of in the background, just watching all this develop and play out. And hopefully, if you're watching this video today, you've begun a journey where you begin to ask yourself, man, there's got to be more to this life than this. And yeah, there is. There is more to life than just blindly flailing around through life, struggling from one moment to the next, trying to hold on to a fictitious control we never really had. Not in the way we think anyways. There probably have been moments in your life, no matter how brief, where you've been able to kind of catch a glimpse of that real you, a sort of bird's eye view of yourself in a situation where you wonder, why in the heck did I just say that or do that? So when we tap into that real you, we begin to see that there is a whole other perspective. And when we really tap into it on a daily, consistent basis, we start to really experience freedom and the real peace we have been so desperate to live. This is what many people call awareness, self-awareness, your true self, inner wisdom, etc. But when we stop in our tracks and begin to breathe and reconnect with that center of you, you click off the mind, and it's as if you just sit in your body and there's a new sensation and it begins to spread throughout your body and you feel an instant release of tension, fear, worry, and stress. You start to recognize the real true you. That's why you hear about meditation and mindfulness exercises being so essential to your personal growth. It's a paradigm shift, literally, a new angle to work from, a new perspective to see through. It really does change everything. So now that we've touched on that a bit, let's talk more about how this brings you more empowerment and freedom. You may not have known this before, but that motor that keeps going on in your head since the moment you first took your first breath, it has made all the decisions for you since that time. It has created programming to dictate how you will act, react, and feel. And the body is intimately connected to this and begins to follow along, expressing physical manifestations of these feelings. So what if you just stop right now, right? Well, the mind just won't let you do that. It's actually created fail-safe measures to help you survive at all costs. And it has been this way for many, many years, until you, the real you, stands up and begins to take charge of this experience. And here's where you come in. So try to remember the last time you felt really uncomfortable, or maybe you had an argument with someone that got you really emotional. I just want to kind of add here, I'm not talking about any violent or threatening situations. That's a whole other ballgame. So back to the example, it's highly probable that you acted through the scenario with very little awareness. In other words, you knew you felt offended or hurt or frustrated or irritated. Your mind was telling you that this is a bad situation, I don't want to be here anymore. Your body exhibited this like clockwork by sweating, increasing your heart rate, or flushing your face. Afterwards, you probably were feeling low and still affected by the experience. Usually what happens when we go through this later in the day, sometimes even weeks afterwards, when we recall this event, we might have some regrets about not having answered the person's argument in a better way, or some sort of shame of allowing yourself to get so worked up for nothing. Either way, you know that you weren't truly in control. But it wasn't that you weren't in control. It is that you lived through that experience without being in your awareness. When you confront an event with awareness, it's as if time slows down. You see the acts unfold in front of you, almost like a big picture type witness. You actually sense the reaction your mind and body want to snap into, but you keep them at bay and begin to sense a different sensation, one of knowing, patience, and that deep trust that you are perfectly okay and that there really is no danger. You begin to see in front of you not just the one or two options that your survival mind wants to jump in on, but the myriad of other choices that you have with which to respond, very different than to react. In that space of trust and wisdom, you breathe and you choose how you will respond to this event or person. Not because your survival programming has clicked on by your mind, bringing up historical data of every time you were embarrassed or abandoned or what you think you know about human relationships, but from a space of free choice, what you really want to decide. You are no longer a prisoner of your mind. You are the leader. You have the power. You have true freedom. And that, my friends, is true peace of mind. So how do we get to this place of response and of conscious leadership with ourselves? There's no magic pill, I'm afraid, but it is your choice. It always has been. Take on each day and each moment with awareness. You practice being more aware of the random thoughts that circulate in your head, and you begin to ask, where did this come from? Why am I thinking this? Every time that there's a sensation in your body, you ask yourself, where's this stemming from? Where's it coming from? What's the root? What was I thinking to make my body feel this way? It's in this curiosity and inquisitive nature with yourself that you will begin to see your own personal intimate patterns that have been controlling your experience. Journaling is actually a wonderful practice that can help you see these patterns as well. Maybe at the end of the day, you write down all the interactions you had, and then you can see on paper, without the skewed, biased lens of your survival mind, the way things really played out. So begin to break each one down, time and time again, every day, and your new habit of awareness and choice will begin to be the bigger part of your experience. Make the choice to choose how you want to live each moment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Now, I say seemingly because there truly are no small moments. Everything is significant, just like you are. If you want to bring some calm to your mind, check out our guided meditations here on this channel. Be sure to subscribe and click on that bell to be notified when we have a new video or meditation for you to enjoy. And remember, your truth is inside of you.